Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt, and for those who don't know me, I'm a UX and UI designer by day, I'm a YouTuber by night, and I'm a Formula One fan just through and through. I really love the sport, whether it's the actual sport or the video games. I put a ton of time into both of them, and it's just a thing that I enjoy. But I never really have a reason to talk about those on this channel because this is all about software and using your computer better and everything. But I do have an excuse today, and I'm pretty excited about it. So what I want to talk about today is the F1 22 game. So I don't want to talk about the gameplay or the visuals or anything. This isn't a gaming channel. What I want to talk about specifically is the user interface. Specifically, one part of the interface that I think has regressed significantly over last year. I'm going to show you how it's regressed and kind of just treat it as a lesson in how to build user interfaces that help your users get exactly what they need done. Not to look nice or anything, but to actually be practical and improve the experience overall. So let's jump into it. Okay, so here's some gameplay I just recorded from F1 2021. This is last year's game. Just as a reminder, this is the one that I think they did a great job with, basically perfected it.
Practically perfected it.
I knew exactly what was up at all times. I loved it. So what we're looking at today is the top right of the screen, where you can see my position in the race, the current time on the lap, my best lap time, and 3 S's, so S1, S2, S3, and those stand for sector times. If you're not familiar with racing or Formula One, each track is separated into 3 different sectors. It can be more, but in Formula One, they're all 3 sectors. And those basically tell you how you're doing throughout the lap to know whether you need to pick up the pace or you're doing great, you're on like record pace. It helps you kind of know how fast you're going throughout the lap. And so they're going to light up one of 3 colors. They're either going to be red, green, or purple. If they're red, that means that you did that sector slower than your current best lap. At this point in the lap, you are slower than your best lap time. If it's green, that means that at this point in the lap, you're actually ahead of your best lap time, so you're on pace to set a new personal best lap. And if they turn purple, that means you did that sector faster than anyone else on track today. So as we get to the end of lap 2 here, you're going to see these kind of reset. I'm about to set fastest lap, and I will say I am playing on a lower difficulty right now just to make sure that I can just test things properly and get ahead of people when I need to. But anyway, the lap has started, and I think about a dive bomb there to get past the Red Bulls, but I can't quite make it, so I pull out, and then on the next run we think we can get them, but it's not a good place to pass here, so I'm going to lift off for a second and hopefully get the slipstream, get out of this area a little quicker. And it looks like I do get a good run. DRS says activated, and I can get ahead of the first Red Bull, which is very 2021, not something that would easily happen in 2022, and very aggressive, but a successful double pass. But what you saw there, and I'll just freeze the frame for a second, you can see that the Sector 1 time came up, and it's red, so I wasn't my fastest through that first sector, and I can see how far behind the pace I was. Now, I happen to know that on the last lap, I slowed down around here to let the Red Bulls get ahead of me, so I had something more interesting to show you in terms of the race. So I know that I should be able to make up that time in Sector 2, but as I'm going, I know just in general, okay, Sector 1 was a little slower, I need to pick up the pace to get back up to the speed that I want to be at. So I can go ahead and just kind of go. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to where we hit Sector 2. There we go, so we get to the end of Sector 2. I can see it went purple, which means it was the fastest of anyone in the race, and I can see that now I'm 3.882 seconds ahead of my personal best time, so I'm just flying on this lap. And so that's really good information to be able to see, and because of the way it's displayed, I can see those red, green, and purple colors pop up without having to change my view at all. I'm still looking down track at like where I'm going. I can still do that and just see the colors pop up as I go. I don't have to change my view. Additionally, if I do want to see like how far ahead or how far behind am I do have to move my eyes just for a second, but I'm okay doing that because it's very clearly displayed there, and I can see it really quickly and then go back to looking at the track and focusing on what I have to do. This is really, really well done, and I think it was fantastically done, better than any racing game, honestly, I think I've ever personally played. So now let's look at F1 2022. Okay, so here's F1 2022. This is the new one that I don't think they did as well on. And if you look at that same UI element at the top, it's not as clear what's going on. So I can still see my position, I can still see my current lap time, but the rest of the data I think is much worse in how it's displayed. So as we go through this first sector, we're going to go through this straight away. There's no one ahead of me this time, so I should just be able to go flat out the whole way. And as we get to, if we skip ahead to the end of Sector 1, you're maybe not going to see anything unless you moved your eyes up to the top right to see that that little bar, a couple pixels tall, turned red. Okay, so it was red. How far off the time was I? Like, how much slower than last lap was I? I have no idea. I just know how much time that sector took me, which is not super helpful because I'm not memorizing these numbers as we go. And as we skip ahead towards the end of Sector 2, where we're going to go purple, again, because we're going to do the sector as fast as humanly possible. Purple, again, super faint and very hard to differentiate from the red, honestly. I have to look up there to see it. I can't see the difference, so I don't know, did I go so much slower in Sector 1 that I'm still behind the pace? Did I make it up and now I'm ahead of the pace and I'm on pace to actually set the fastest lap again? I have no idea. I have no way of knowing because the game doesn't tell me that. And that's really frustrating. So as we come around here to the final chicane and get through the start-finish line one more time, you're going to see that, yes, I did actually set a personal best time, but how much faster was I than the previous lap? I don't know because it doesn't show me that. It doesn't show me the time differential. It's really frustrating. I just think it's a big regression over what we had previously, and I don't know why they changed it. It seems like they changed it for the sake of change, and they made it worse in every single way. I can't think of a single way that this current display is better than what we had last year. I don't like it. I think it's a real fumble by the developers on this. I really love this game. I've played many, many hours of this game. Despite its flaws, I still play it because I think there's a core game that's really fantastic here, but yeah, this is really frustrating, and it's the sort of thing that I think makes this game feel less complete, less just polished than last year's game. And I don't have a million years of context here. I haven't played these games for like 10 years or anything. I've literally only played 2 of them, but I can say for sure that in terms of just interface elements, especially like focusing on this one that we looked at today, I think there's no question in my mind that they were much better last year than they were this year, and I hope that, I know they're not going to really change it now that the game's out, but I really do hope that F1 2023 goes back in the right direction and improves this in ways that are meaningful. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this slightly unusual video, maybe, on Formula 1 interfaces games. Formula 1 interfaces, oh my god, interfaces in Formula 1 games. It's a little adjacent to what we normally talk about on the channel, but hopefully you enjoyed anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.